Well, hello everyone. This is Jurgita, and today is like 28th of December of 2022, and I'm coming with to you with my plans for 2023. As always, I got some kind of planner, and it helps me a lot to go over my plans and monthly and yearly to see what I worked on previously and how much I worked each month on each piece, and then I put in my computer. So this way I keep track of all my pieces. So I got this design this year, although it's all about the healthy habits. For like a fitness, but I like the way it's laid out, and just a regular calendar. It's what, second or third year that I've been using it, and usually I write what I'm planning for the month, and then what I actually worked on in this, or if there's a games, then I put in. And then of course it's a calendar. I like to see the calendar in one glance of the whole month, and this way I can mark how many days I worked on which piece, and then with the different markers I mark if I had a new start or if I had a finish. And then if I needed some more notes to put in, like for example, if I'm playing some stitchy games, then I can do on the rest of the pages of the month. This year, in 2023, again, not planning to do a lot of stitchy game. I'll be sticking with magical stitches. Again, it's gonna be individual more, but it's also stitching and reading in that, although you don't have to do either one. So I didn't do very well in the reading because I did not want to just follow the list. I just read whatever I wanted to read, and that's what I got. But it's like a tradition. Since I started magical stitches in the beginning and playing, and I'm gonna continue playing. And you'll see what some other changes I'm going to be doing slightly in this upcoming year. And what I do at the very bottom end of that is I'm going to be writing like separately. Maybe I should move you up a little bit. Separately, what I finished, like the list of the finishes and what I purchased, because it's always good to see how much you bought, like a pattern wise. I don't include here like if I needed beads or some threads or fabric for something like that. I did not do not include in here, but just what patterns. And this way it kind of, when I see that it's could be a lot, then I try to slow down and not to do the shopping that much. So my planner is not filled in yet. I'm planning to do that, and I wanted to show you what, like, overall what I've planned to do um, with my works. So I'm not gonna show you the whips that gonna go in 2023 from 2022. I'll do the separate video of those. I just want to like talk overall. I have 20 projects that's gonna be moving on, and like 10 of them are big, so I'm not gonna be able to finish it in upcoming year too, but it's okay because 7 of them I'm planning to finish off, the ones that are continuing in the upcoming year. So I'm hoping to get the 7 of them at least done, and then with my new starts. So one of them is gonna be, let me bring out, it's gonna be from my list in here. I have a separate video that you guys can help me choose and vote which one of these 6 I should start in February of, yeah, February 2nd. So it would be 2 3 2 3, and I wanna the biggest vote for one of these 6 is gonna be what I'm gonna start, although I want to start all of them. Like I said in that video, it was very hard for me to trickle down only to 6 of these whips, and the projects. They're not whips yet. So I'm gonna be picking one then with the biggest vote and start. The top three are just full coverage plain. The fourth one is full beads. The fifth one is very big, and I'm gonna have to do that on um, as a cross because it has back stitching too, and the different stitching, half stitches and full stitches. And of course six, although it's not a full coverage, but also will have a back stitching and stuff, and it's very big. So I'm considering these as one of my babs that I want to start. So I'll be asking again for your votes. If you haven't done that, please go in that video there. So that would be one of the starts. So I'm gonna be, I printed these pages to kind of give myself a reminder what I have. So I have a Babs that's gonna continue to the next year. So that's one sheet. Then I have whips that I want to finish. So that's another sheet with them, and you'll see them more up close in a different video. And then these are the whips that I'm gonna continue, would not have it finished because of course like a lot of them are fairly big or like with specialty stitches. So that's another group. And then let's start with some changes. So I'm hoping to work on slightly different this year. Again, I'm trying something new. So it would be working, emptying out my magazine giant racks. I'll put a picture what I have right now, at least collected. And a lot of that was from my mother-in-law, her inheritance I got. And I looked through those magazines. I marked some that I might be interested in stitching. So I want to start emptying out those magazine spaces, and I have more magazines to go through and put in their places, but I want to start emptying out that way. And I looked at them and sort of sorted them out in different categories. So it's gonna be like a winter projects, spring, summer, fall, Halloween, and like a specialty and no occasion projects. And I'm gonna try to work on them at those times. So we'll see how that works out. I'll put a separate plans for like a winter season, which I probably gonna do only for January, February, because December is usually for me to kind of finish off end of the year projects, because I play 3 months to the finish line, and I try to finish off some works, or like if I have some ornaments to finish, or just a little bit of some project left, I concentrate on that, and that usually encourages me to stitch more on those and not to end the year with a lot of different whips. So I this year that's what I've decided to do. So I had printed some from magazines and not magazines. Like I said, one of those BAPs is going to be one new start. And again, possible new starts. Like I had four of these ornaments done. It's only two left, so maybe I can do both of them and finish the whole kit. And then I know I'm gonna be doing this Biscornu, because my son is planning to get married perhaps next year or year after. So I want to just have it done and finish it to be ready for that, because bride to be liked the design, so I would be doing that for her. And something new is gonna be stitching on the wooden platform, wooden form, and I have this wine gnome. I got it also, like those two, at a Needlework Galleria 2022, and like you can see, it can be put together with something else. But I just got this pattern, and it's on a wooden form, and I have a pattern too, so I'm ready to stitch on that. Then Sue Hillis Dark Shadows, I have four of them stitched on, so I have only two left, and they're usually my like a personal projects. I'm stitching on suggested fabric, a 20 count over one. So it's something small to work on, and it still needs attention because stitching over one and the fabric is very flimsy, so I need to make sure that no thread slips under. But I have only two left and they're very fast to go, so I might finish those two. Then this would be gift, so I'd like to start and finish. It's a Mill Hill kit. I also got at the Galleria and stitched this and gifted. And I'm working on a project still, quilts, angel project, that I'm stitching some of those ice cats. I had one done this in 22, and I want to do at least one more in 23. We'll see, maybe perhaps two, depends how fast they're stitching, but they're going to be sent to James, and he can then give to quilters to put it as little quilts for babies that were born to preemies, because the quilts are being give out. I've talked about this project previously in several videos, so if you on the edge to help out with this project or not, I encourage you to do that. Even if you don't want to stitch, you can financially send, contact him and send, because money, because to send out all those quilts, it costs a lot, especially after New Year. I think the postage is gonna go up, and it's we're not sponsored by any company, so we're doing that all on our own. And this project's been around 20 plus years, so even if you don't want to stand stitch or stitching pieces or help out with the making as a quilt, you can help financially. Then this is again something new that I bought at Galleria, and it's a different case for different seasons, and I want to stitch at least one. There is a February, I think, that I don't know if it's this one or one of them I want to stitch before the wedding. And I figured these JBW Designs tiny ornaments I got from my mother-in-law. She was collecting some of those, so I figured at least one ornament, those tiny ones. It should not take very long. It would be on a very small count, so I would have to pay attention to that and stitch. I haven't picked fabrics for any of them yet, but I figured once I'm ready to stitch, I'll just grab something that I have in my stash and work on that. Then another Justinian mouse. I've done owl, and I've done like a cube, and I wanted to do this Santa mouse. And I think I have everything that needed for it. If not, it's mostly just a fabric, and all those little extras are included in the with the patterns, so that should not take long or stuff like that, at least to stitch, because then my biggest problem is FFOing, so I wanted to at least stitch this. And then again, noteworthy needle, she has those this is Scaredy Palace called. It's a Rusty Palace kind of collection that I've stitched several of them. So this is also very quick stitch to do with, I think majority of them like Wix Dye Works or gas threads, and just on like a linen fabric, so that would be very quick stitch too. It's just again FFOing would be the problem. Then I want to try one of the dolls. I have several of patterns for different dolls, and it's oh boy, I need to remember who's it by. I have several different other styles to do, and just on the tip of my tongue, the doll designer. Hold on. Yep, once I hit the pause, I remembered Giulia Manfredini or Giulia Punti, and this one actually I had like a kit with the porcelain half doll and fabric and those extras in it. I bought it from Galleria. They had a whole most kit, so I can just start stitching. Of course I need to buy those extras like a cone and the base to make it, and some ribbons, I think, too, and those pins are not included. So I want to try to stitch. I know the stitching is not a lot to do, it's just mostly the work that goes into putting it all together. But since I have several patterns, I might as well start something and hopefully finish too. Then let's go to the different types of kits, our bigger ones. So all of these could be finished, at least in stitching those two parts. And then I'm stitching right now one of the dimensions kits, Coral Peonies. And once I finish that one, I want to start this dimensions kit. It should not take super long on this one, although you would think, and then it changes your mind. But majority of the background, from what I've heard, is being stitched in half stitches, and I think it's called the silent flight. So I want to stitch that for my husband, and I'm gonna start on this once I finish the other one. Then this kit, I already stitched several other pieces in the same style and about the same height. And it's a foreign kit, so it's going to be a lot of... no, hold on. Did I stitch this one? It's one of those. I can't even remember. I stitched so many. But anyway, it's from a group. I think I put that one in mistake because I think this one I stitched with, yes, I stitched and I showed you, I think, in 2021 finishes. So I got the wrong picture put in, but there's another one that I have like two kits of the same design. It's a bird sitting on like a plant branch, and that would make a trio of those kind of designs. And then I want to FFO all of them together because, like I said, they're about the same size and same style. So you'll see that when I pull it out. And then I've been waiting to stitch on this, and it keeps being postponed. It's Mirabile Stitching Autumn Sky. I won this at a giveaway from Lisa Stitching and such. And I have a fabric, I have everything. It should not take super long because it's not a full coverage, and it's beautiful pattern. And like I said, I've been planning to stitch on it, and I don't know when I'm gonna do it if I don't start. So I wanted to start. Of course, I'm not gonna finish probably any of these, but it's okay. And then another one, I have a fabric, I have a kit, and I even have those tops and bottoms of the hanging part. But originally I was planning to stitch over two threads of this pattern, but I've seen also doing it over one, so that looks amazing. But then I will have to buy new ones to hang it with. I love the witch's boots and witch's hat here, so I'm now conflicted because it would take way less space if we stitch over one thread versus over two threads, and it's all like in black thread, so it's very monochromatic. So I haven't decided what to do. Should I leave it as is and do over two, or just then buy new hangings? Or maybe if you have it and for a smaller size and you want to exchange for a bigger one, then you can contact me and we can work that out for exchange. And then one of those berries that I've been planning to stitch again, and I have this mermaid, I have a Halloween, all those berries, and I haven't done any of them, so I want to start at least on the berries because stitching on a 40 count silk, everything has to, all the background has to be filled in, stitched, and that's gonna take a while, especially on such a small count, which I would not be able to do that fast anymore. I'm trying to protect my eyes because I think I'm gonna go for a slight correction for one eye to do the surgery. So again, I would have to be more careful about all of that. So that's possible new starts like with the kids that I have. And let's see what I have made for different seasons. Okay, let's start with the winter projects, possibilities. I'm not saying that I'm gonna stitch all of them. I'm just gonna pick out of these that I pulled out from my magazines. So I can't remember who did the pattern or in which magazine it was. Once I decide which one I want to pull, then I'm gonna tell you more about it. but I think these are might be like started and then stitch every day, like for 10-20 minutes or something like that, or one length of thread, and that way it would be finished. But this is what I'm hoping to pick from in first 2 months. So I like this, that it's sort of Scandinavian design, and it's hanging like little rug in here. And that's, I think, something different, because I want to have different styles and sizes and ornaments. So I think this is definitely something different. Then there is another gnome sitting on bag of with matching gifts with little bird, and they're all dressed festively. So it doesn't have to be finished as stocking, but I think it's gonna look cute no matter what. And this, I think, can be stitched in one day, and I think you can do in both sides, so reverse design. And at first I just saw like a interesting bird, different colors, something totally different. And then I looked closer, and there is like a Santa with a big beard by the tree with a bunch of gifts. So I think this is something unique and different, and it would look great on Christmas tree with the different types of ornaments. And then here is another ornament that can be stitched, I think, on the plastic canvas. And it's like a sweater with the wiener dog in here, and it says ho ho ho. So that's would be something very neat. I liked how the hanger is so specific and tiny, and I'll have to look if there's instructions where to get such a tiny hanger, because I think that's just hilarious how it's hanging. Then in one of the magazines, I think some of the designs you can even tell who's the designer. And here are like a four skating parts with the sleds, and I can't tell if that's just like a bead, special bead hanging here, or it's a stitch and attached. But I think this is very cute. I don't know if I would stitch on this fabric, because I think those it's like a snowflake looking things would distract from the main design. I haven't decided, like I said, of any of the fabrics and how I want to FFO them, but I just wanted to at least stitch for a variety of ornaments. And I thought this is also cute, like a cat and a mouse, and especially that 2023 is gonna be no, it's not a mouse here. It's hare or wild bunny year is gonna be, but mouse was one of the years. So I figured by the time we reach the rats year, I'll have this FFO'd. So it's always good thinking ahead, right? I like how this was done for FFOing with those pompons. And you can, I guess, do the pompon in here and on the tip of the hat for the cat. But I'm curious what the it's like, maybe mouse just chirping, chirping, and the cat's like, when it's gonna be finished. And there's something different, a little bit more work probably, and interesting way to FFO it, like a pointer and like a carousel polar bear, all dressed up nicely. And it reminds me of one of the movie that was like some Karens, I think, try to ban it. Can't remember what it's called, but it's about a girl, I think, and a wild polar bear, and something going on adventures, something to do with the spirit, maybe, or something like that. If you remember, let me know too. I can't remember right now, but this kind of reminds me of that. And then this looks like a specialty stitches kind of piece, and could be made into a little pillow or an ornament. And I think I would make it an ornament. I like how it stands out on a dark pillow. I can't remember by looking back what kind of threads it needs, but it could be also stitched with um, like a sparkly thread. So we'll see how that goes. Now let's go into the bottom row of possibilities. So I thought that was kind of cute. It says no humbugs allowed, and there's a little bit like attaching of different light bulbs in here. I don't know if it's beads or something like that, but it's or buttons sewn on, and a little bit of back stitching done. So it's a cute Santa. And of course, for especially for month of February, those four gnomes that hold the letter says love. I think that's very cute too, and it could be made not in a hanging something but into a pillow. So I think that would be very nice to stitch in the month of February. And these little houses, I can't remember which designer it was made. It's little house or anyway. Once I pulled out, I'll know. Or it's a Cathy. No, Barbara something. I'm trying to read in here, but these are like a 3 months of different designs, and following or previous magazine issues had other months. So right now I have those three, and I think it's still good to have something like this pop out and something like that. And then I added this because it's very wintry scene. It's trim a tree, but it's mainly specialty stitches, like all those little like leaves are. I think it might be like a Rhodes stitch or something like that. So I included in here and in the specialty stitches list because this is wintry design. So this is what I have for my winter style, and let's go see what I might start in the spring and summer. So for spring summer I have something bigger to work on. So these are, I know some of them looking for the kids for these designs, but I have both of them in the magazines. And I think it's always good to look at the older magazines because some of them now are being sought of and very hard to find. And I think they were in is that 80s, 90s perhaps magazines. I have it marked, and I can't remember which style kids would they wear. Is that John Lynn or Busilla kits perhaps, but one is with the roses and one is with the like a honeybees. And I know it's fairly popular, but it's a lot of work, so of course I would not be able to finish it in 1 year, but that's okay. It would be at least a start. And I don't know if I would want to, because I want to stitch them both. Yeah, I don't know if I should stitch them on the same type of fabric or not. But this design would not work on this color fabric because you would not be able to see the honeycombs in here, and this would not look good probably on this style of fabric because all the white lattice here would not be seeing. So I don't know if I should just keep with the style of the fabrics that it was suggested by designer or not. And so there's going to be a lot of back stitching done, a lot of probably detailed stitches. This looks like almost like a 3D thing. So not sure how long it's going to take me, but I want to start perhaps with the roses. One of those two definitely want to start. And then I've been eyeing this to start by Cricut Collection, different little carrots. I think it would look very cute for the Easter to hang on like a Easter tree ornaments. And I had orangey fabric for a while, and I've been planning to stitch for several years and could never get to it. So I thought I want to do at least one of these and maybe even FFO it possibly before the Easter. So we'll see. And this design, I can't remember where I got it. It was at in one of the magazines, or it was a free pattern on like a Russian Facebook type social network group that some designers throw some very cute designs in there for free. And I want to stitch. This is like also Easter theme, and they just FFO'd very nicely with these twigs, like looking like a spring. So those are definitely lesser amount for spring summer projects, but they're big, so I wanted to at least start. Like I said, I want to just stitch tiny bit throughout like a week or throughout the month, little by little, and just at least have it on the frame. So we'll see how that goes. So that would be spring summer. Next let's go in fall and Halloween. So majority of them are Halloween because I love Halloween. And what you see in here, they're all from, I believe, except this one. I think this one again was from Russian social stitch groups. And from magazines, I got this again on orange color, so you can do several designs on orange, same orange fabric. Fly by zone, it should not take very long. In majority of that is the black stitching and some like a back stitching to do the spider web, or maybe it's with the, even a sparkly some kind of thread. That would look cute, and I like how the design is made. Then full design is a November Blessed. I thought another Thanksgiving design would be great to work on, and it should not take super long in here, although I have not checked out the stitch count, how much it would be, but something to do for Thanksgiving, not the Halloween, because otherwise it would be all Halloween, nothing fall. And here is the welcome. I think it's on a hand dyed, like a blackish chalkboard fabric, and I actually have the like a coffin shaped a little wooden box that's all unfinished, so I think that could be looking good if I can figure out the sizing to fit in that. And of course stitching with the light color in here or over dyed thread, I don't know, I haven't looked. Like I said, I don't remember now. So that would be cool to fit in that little box, so we'll see when the time comes. The next, I thought it's very cute. It's like a four-sided little ornament. So you see all four sides. I guess you could do each of them separately as a flat finish, but I thought the four-sided would look great. Something like this. And I want to stitch that and try out and hang it for my Halloween collection. Then this is used to be also as a kit, I believe, too, if you wanted to purchase. uh, that there's like both sides, so you stitch them and you put them together. I think you could, most of them do on like a plastic, and you put them together back to back, so one side is a smile and with the lights, and another with the dark inside. So they're slightly different, but some choose to do it as a two separate pieces and hang next to each other. So I haven't decided how I want to do it. And that would be a bit bigger, a bit more work to do than like any of these, I think. So there's way more stitching, and there's of course the back stitching to do, and probably blends gonna be involved in that one too. So let's move on. Now this doesn't look like a lot of stitching. There's gonna be a lot of back stitching, some beads in here, I think, and you can choose which sizes you want to do. And like here you see it's almost like a biscornu little pillow that they did, and put a little ribbon, and I think that's mostly it with the one type of thread, crosses, back stitching and beading. So if I get to it, I'll start working on that, and we'll figure out then together which one I'm doing that. Then something a little bit more simple style, like a child version of a little witch with cat. So that's, I can't remember the size again, but I think it's not going to be very small, tiny, so it's going to be a little bit bigger, and could be put in a frame, could be made perhaps into the ornament, and we'll see how that works out. And I thought that made me laugh, so I should stitch it. It says, I will be a perfect witch, and like a tightening corsets, because you don't want to have a big fat belly to scare off the kids, right? That you want to scare anyway. So I thought that even witches trying to follow fashion style and look cool. So it reminds me of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Winds, when she was holding on to like a bedpost while her corset is being tightened up by not the Betsy. What was the slaves lady's name? I can't remember, but anyway, it kind of reminds me of that scene, and I think that witch is trying to be fashionable like this. It looks amazing. So that's what I would have for possible Halloween projects. Now let's go to like a no occasion that I could start anytime, and just something that doesn't have to be in a specific season. So this is of again a bigger style. It looks like some kind of shaker box lid or something like that. And I'm sure if I want it, I can change the colors in here. I would have to think about it more, but I like how it looks all symmetrical and that it's fit for the lid. I would have to look for a box to fit in something like this, but I thought that's kind of cute. And another thing that I don't know if it was made into box or just used some Valentine candy. I guess I could stitch that in February, but since it was not a winter theme, I included in here. And what impressed me is all those different chocolate pieces. They have a different style, so you can stitch one at a time, and you have a tiny itty bitty finish, and you can have a piece of chocolate candy after finishing it. So I think that would be encouragement for me to stitch on like a little prize after each little thing. And you can see that there's different styles with the back stitching done, different colors. So that would be big collection of non-edible candy. I could eat candy. Maybe I could buy the same shape box and figure out and eat that candy once I finish each of the chocolate pieces. And then once I'm done eating it all and stitching it all, I could FFO it in my chocolate box. That's interesting idea for me to ponder upon, but not yet. So the next is like finger towels, bathroom towels. I inherited several of those that, there is a special area left for the stitching to be done, and the rest of it like a fluffy parts. So I wanna clean them up a little bit more and see if I wanna stitch something like this to keep in like a powder room or something like that. Maybe even change colors, not to have it as monochromatic blue colors. I can play around with that again and have something stitched on for, as they say, for your fingertips to reach. So I want to do perhaps one of those. Then I guess it might be hands-on design, Kathy Haberman designs. So it could be as a long strip like that. It's coffee shop with different coffees. As you know, I love coffee, especially black coffee. I don't like to have too much flavor that you cannot taste the coffee beans themselves, the flavor. But I'm okay with a little bit like a latte cappuccino, although I'm dairy intolerant, so I cannot have too much dairy products in the coffee, but I love my Java. So you can stitch as a whole thing or do like a separate pieces. I haven't figured out yet what I'm gonna do, but I want to try something like this. Next is a big piece, and of course I wouldn't be able to finish in 1 year unless I kind of leave all other whips behind. So it's a Mirabilia design. I think it's called like a gathering eggs or something like that. And we'll see. I want to try out and start it, and we'll see how I can do it. And like we know, all Mirabilia pieces take a lot of time to stitch, but they're fun to stitch. A lot of them are like stitching with the blocks, but this looks like a colorful thing. It's a very old pattern. I don't know if you can buy it as a loose pattern from Wichelt or anywhere else, but it was in the magazines and I have it, and I have to figure out what color fabric I would like to use it for. So that was Mirabilia. Then something like a more patriotic. It's like a flying over the rooftop, a little angel, more primitive style, not exactly my style, but I figured it should be okay to have different styles, different designs um, um, for our house. Perhaps the kids would like one of those. So it has the flags in here, and I guess you could even make it an not on a fabric, but like a plastic canvas or paper canvas. Those like Mirabilia comes in, not Mirabilia, a Mill Hill. So you could do like that could be hanging as an ornament only too. So I haven't decided yet. I think it's very cool looking, very primitive but cool looking style. So that would be more patriotic. Of course, that would be towards like a 4th of July or Memorial Day or Labor Day, something that would work for that. Then another one sort of in the same style is Bah Humbug. I could never in the beginning understand what's the Bah Humbug, saying, but this looks like a Lincoln because of the President Lincoln had a very tall black hat in those days, and sideburns as it was fashionable that style. So this was made like in a bag or something like that. I don't know how would FFO it, but at least I had a thought of stitching it, so at least that counts, right? And then another Mirabilia, it's one of those flower girls. Don't know which one it is, but was also in the magazine, and I marked it. I thought it would be cool to stitch. It's not the same size as Gathering Eggs or of my big ladies that I stitch and the queens, so it should be a little bit less work. I think she doesn't have even the face, so it's a faceless. You can imagine the face, I guess, but it would involve again some back stitching. I might do the skins on all mirrors, uh, like over one. I don't know, it would be full stitch or like a half stitch over one, and probably would use the silk threads, but it will involve most likely beads in here too, for sparkle and crinix. But I think it's gonna be kind of cute and springy summery, maybe darker background fabric so she would stand out more. Don't know if you stitch that one. Let me know which fabric you picked and why, because I think on a darker fabric she would be more standing out. Like a very dark fabric, probably she would be flying like a little fairy, all glowing, right? So the next one I think is Doreen Jones because of the style of hers. And there's lots and lots of back stitching, but you can do one piece or a few small leaves at a time. I thought that's also cute, and if I can figure out the sizing for this and that to make the same, then I could maybe change just the top of different seasons. Like in the fall it could be this one, and for the rest of the year that one or something like that. I think it's a fall, more fall. Looks like a different color leaves and some bunnies jumping perhaps, so like all around. So I thought that's something different. I can't remember if I've ever stitched during Jones design, but that would be good time to start, right? And another last one as no occasion projects would be 1776. I can't remember the lady's name that, not Smith, that sewed the flag first time like together, and I think that's a memorial in her name. So there's again something to have for I hope I didn't hide it. I couldn't see him through my camera what I was showing. So there's something patriotic again to do, because my husband and two of my kids like history. So I thought that would be something cool to have for those special occasions. So that's a no occasion designs. And let's look at the last sheet that I have put together. I hope I'm not boring you and you're interested, and perhaps I would encourage you to stitch more after the magazines. I know there is like a monthly magazine group that they work on, but like I said, I don't like to stitch on not the orders, but when somebody gives out, like you stitch on green colors. And if I was not planning to stitch on anything green, that I would not feel like that good. I grab something when it calls to me, and that I try to plan it. And when I look at the plans, then those pieces start talk to me. It's like, okay, I think I'm yelling the most from here, so maybe then I would pick for those that I planned for that month, because I'm visual person too, and if I see something like this I get more encouraged, and I fire up myself more to stitch these pieces versus like all those other ones that's sitting in the background. And this way I know that I'm not gonna forget these, so my planning works for me. Okay, so specialty stitches, like you see here, it's a 3D bunny. So I thought 2023 hair bunny year, that would work great. And it involves some specialty stitching, and of course most of the work would be to put it all together. And I don't know how they did just paint it on the cheeks to be red or not, but I thought that would be cool to do. And yes, the Easter eggs there have some stitching to be done. I think this is especially gonna be looking nice, specialty stitches. So that was another one. It would be, I would pick only one probably out of this whole collection. Then you can see here it's almost like not the couching, what is that called, not the gold work, but gold work uses the same technique, that they have something poofy and stitch over the top. um, of course, I probably will stop the video and it will pop in my head like it always happens. But this is totally different style, and it could be pinkish and it could be something hanging ornament, or I don't know the size. I don't think it would be small enough for to be like a scissor fob, but we'll see. So I want to try my hand on this one, and we'll see if I grab it for this year or not. If not, then it would go for the next year. And then again, a trio of eggs that was done like collecting together, connecting together three different frames. And you can tell that it's specialty stitches. It's almost like a stitch with a ribbon, those roses, um, and road stitching, and something else. So uh, they're similar, but I might stitch only one of them. I'll see if I get to it. And then this one is very big, although picture is very tiny, and it's a sampler, and a very interesting sampler. I liked it, and I figured it was in magazine, so I should not pass by. And it has all kinds of things. It almost reminds me of one of Hands Across the Sea, where it's double-sided. It would be perfect on both sides stitching. This kind of motif, it reminds me of that I've been eyeing my eyeing to get and try to have a perfect back and front, but I didn't get the courage yet to do that. So I figured I might as well do this, and it would take more than 1 year for me to work on something like this. But I thought it was amazing looking sampler, and it's totally worth my attention. And then let's go from this row, little house. It involves a hardanger, and there's going to be picture stitch behind it. So it's several pieces of fabric put together to make this looking neat house. I think reading and stitching. Oh gosh, sorry, I forgot your name now. She's headmistress of Magical Stitches. Now, of course, like I turn off the camera and I will remember her name right away. But I'll include her channel below. I hope I can remember too. I think she's either started or want to start one of those houses. There are several with the sceneries behind the windows. So I think she's even sent me one of these houses. So I'll have to look, and I want to try something like this. I've done hardanger before, and I want to try again. So that would be a perfect piece to work, like combining two great things together. Then a little like a snowflakes, itty bitty little ornaments here, and I would try to stitch only one. I think they're like a similar designs using different color threads, and that would work fine. I want to try at least one, and then if I like it, I can do the rest of them later on. Now this, it's very hard to see, but it has a hardanger, and it's like a white on white, so it's a little bit harder to see. It's always best to check this out more in a person, or like on a camera when you turn side to side, so you can see a little bit better of the designs. So there's some jewelry like a pieces looking involved, and stitching. So I don't know if I would FFO it the same way. I don't know what's this behind the kind of ruffly fabric or what, but I thought one of these would look great at least to start. And then definitely Christmassy style, like a smaller one and bigger little hanging ornaments, and a lot of straight stitching in here, like a satin stitch to be done. So something like this also drew my eye from a magazine. Next, now that's definitely like a hardanger piece, and it looks like very small. And I don't know if I would leave it empty because you could see the back. So, but if you attach something in the bag, it has to be dark color so you could see all those holes in there. Otherwise, what's the point of cutting out holes, right? If it's going to be white. So it would be hard to see with the white background of this. And of course, you can change the colors in here. Most of them are being stitched with different, not the regular DMC threads, embroidered threads, but with the thicker ones. And I would follow probably instructions unless I want to change the color of the threads themselves. Then something different style. So it's a gingerbread man and gingerbread woman, but they're like homey getting ready for bed, like a pajamas kind of thing. And you can make them into dolls and then stitch different clothes, perhaps like attaching or something like that. I think that would be cute, although I haven't seen the clothes for them, but that would be neat to see. So I want to do one of those ginger people. Maybe next year then would be another one to make it a pair. Now this again is something totally different, and it would take more time because I think the fabric might not be as bought like this, because you can see in here that it's much more smoother. So this, the whole background might be made out of the stitches. So that I thought would be looking very cool, little like a jewelry box or something like that. And I'm sure it would take a long time to do this, but I think it would be worth it, something to pass on. And of course, one of the big pieces that would have to be worked on because it involves all kinds of things. So those might be also a ribbons stitching to do, plus the hardanger for that lacy bottom. And I can't remember who's done it, but if I start stitching, of course, you'll know more about it. Perhaps you've stitched that too, and her portrait probably is petite stitching, I would imagine. Perhaps, like I said, I don't remember. I was just marking on my magazines and donating the ones that did not draw my attention right away. And these are, I'll be constantly re-looking, and maybe I'll see something else that I kind of pass by, but stitch again. So I have a lot of magazines to go through and lots of stitching to do from them. So that's gonna take a lot of my time. I think just stitch little by little all those pieces from magazines, plus I have all those other whips that I wanna stitch and finish, especially those babs. So these are my plans for 2023. I think it's humongous. I'm not planning to put a lot of the pressure on myself. I might be getting a job after New Year, hopefully. So that would cut down my stitching itself. But my plan is to calculate perhaps like 500 stitches per day, and when I can do more, I'll just catch up on that if I do a little bit less. But yes, these were my projects, and that's how I'm planning to spend my year, is in different seasons. So perhaps I'll do like a seasonal videos too to see how it all works out for me. So hope that you liked this video. Let me know what you think of my idea do the seasonal stitching, especially from all those magazines. Of course, there I'm gonna be leaving some spots for unaccounted, unplanned projects, and we'll see how it all goes. But I just figured out I want to start clearing out my magazine pile. because I also have some stitcher books that I want to stitch from, and of course many kits and patterns that I'm slowly again collecting tiny bit by tiny bit, but they're bigger ones, so it takes longer to stitch, and these are small ones, so I can have more finishes that way. So I guess until the next time, this was Jurgita saying bye-bye, and I'll see you in the next year.